All right, so we've already done these top two. These were both arithmetic sequences because they both add a constant every time. And we are now going to take a look at the next two sequences. So again, the first thing we want to do is we want to determine whether those are arithmetic or geometric sequences. So if you look from 7 to 14 and 14 to 28, 28 to 56 and 56 to 112, you should be able to catch on pretty quickly that this is multiplying by 2. So the common ratio, and remember the common ratio is that constant that you're multiplying by, so the common ratio is 2. And we know that because the common ratio is 2, and because it's multiplying by a constant, that means that our sequence is a geometric sequence. So when we write this explicit definition, again, we want to use function notation. So we're going to start off with f of x or f of n. F of x is equal to. Now the common ratio goes second, and so we put 2, and then we went to the power of x up here. And then just like the other one, we have to figure out, this is our first term, we need to figure out what the 0 term is. So this direction we're multiplying by 2, so in the opposite direction we need to divide by 2. So if we take 7 and divide by 2, we get 3.5. Okay, so that is, I'm going to put this in parentheses. It's not going to look like parentheses, but that's what it is. So there's 3.5 right here times 2 to the power of x. So on this one down here, again, we're going to look at this one, and you can see it's going from 96 to 48, 48 to 24, 24 to 12, 12 to 6. If you go the opposite direction, start with your last one and divide by the first one, it'll tell you what your common ratio is, because you should be able to figure out that this is not an arithmetic sequence. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds to pause and see if you can figure out what the common ratio is. Okay, so the common ratio, if you take 6 and you divide it by 12, and if you do that in a calculator, it's going to tell you, oh, that is 0.5. We also know that the fraction 6 over 12 reduces down to 1/2. Okay, so your common ratio, I'm going to use this fraction. So our common ratio here is 1/2. All right, we know it's geometric because it's multiplying by a constant every single time. So I'm going to give you guys a minute or two to type in the explicit definition for this second geometric sequence here and see if you get it right. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to start off with that f of x or f of n or whatever you want to call that, and whichever variable you want to use. Okay. So our common ratio, remember, always gets the exponent. So this is going to be 1/2 to the power of x. And we're going to put that part in parentheses. And then we need to figure out, this is the first term, we need to find out what the 0 term is. So this direction you're multiplying by 1/2 or dividing by 2. So in this direction, you're going to be dividing by 1/2 or multiplying by 2. So if you take 96 times 2, you would get 192. So your number out here would be 192 times 1/2 to the power of x.